listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks. I'll say it. Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
how we game.
I'm Mitchell.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
And we're here to take your calls. So we'll chat for a little bit, but we've got a number we're going to put up on the screen here. 813-618-7099. We're just going to chit-chat about games, but what we really want is for you guys to call in and take it over. The topic is whatever you want to bring up, and come take control of the show for a little bit.
Yeah,
how you guys doing tonight?
Normal Thursday night call-in show here, 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern. We may stretch that a little bit depending on how the conversation goes, but as we always say, we want to hear from you. Hey, we already got people in the chat there. Ron Fraser,
Hurricane
my man.
First and foremost, I think many of the Beans and Dice crew are in the Tampa Bay area. We got exceptionally lucky that this major storm turned, and so while many of us are very happy and blessed today to have our homes in good condition, we know that many other people in Florida are really struggling right now. So certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people in South Florida right now that are, without power, without homes. And let's hope that things change for them real quick.
Yeah, we got real lucky just at the last minute there as it was coming ashore almost. Hurricane Ian, I want to say Ivan, Hurricane Ian took a bit of a southeasterly track. And although that was great news for us up here, about 2 hours south of where we are in Tampa, they just got smashed. And anybody who hasn't seen the news or anything, there's some pretty massive destruction down there. They're saying this may be as far as cost of life, this may be the worst hurricane Florida has ever seen for deaths. And so,
wow,
it was pretty bad down there down south. So
I saw some crazy videos of the storm surge, like water in people's houses, a guy swimming in his living room. And you can see even out the windows, the water level was even higher. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a shark. There was a shark swimming down one of the main streets.
I saw that too
in Sarasota. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. And I know a few people. You're a theater guy. There's a very sort of famous old theater in Sarasota that just got completely blown away.
That's heartbreaking. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really bad. My wife was really upset about that.
Those barrier islands down there, Sanibel and Captiva, we go down just about every year. We go down, and it's famous for its shelling and finding exotic shells and stuff down there. So me and the family usually go down there every year. And those islands, supposedly, they don't stand much of a chance when they get hit by something like this. I mean, they're just off the coast. It's just a little bridge you go over to get from the mainland to those islands. But every time you go over there, you look at all those houses that are there, and you're like, man, they've got water to their left, water to their right. It's something like that comes through. It's just the whole island's underwater, so it's just crazy. Yeah. But anyway, Another topic.
On to better topics.
Exactly.
So right when Mitchell went live, I was trying to look up. I know the World Series of Board Gaming was this week.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to see who won and what games happened, but they haven't updated their website yet.
Gotcha.
So I was like, that would have been a topic to talk about, but they haven't updated their website yet.
We can talk about what we've been playing lately while we wait.
Sure.
But
hey
guys, if you don't want to hear us talking, you can call in. Numbers down there. I can see it.
813-618-7099. I was just going to say we're on the backup system this week. I'm running the phones. Carlos is out of town. He's in, as he flashed up there in Boise, Idaho. So he not able to join us this week. He may call in or something later if he gets a chance, but he forwarded the phone line over to my phone, so we didn't really give it a test run here. My daughter's 17th birthday was today, so we just did a quick dinner. Although you'd be surprised at how little stuff is open here in Tampa the day after the hurricane. So we drove around for about 20 minutes just trying to find something, and we pulled into Waffle House, but they were on a quote unquote emergency menu. They only had like 4 things on their menu, so we ended up just hitting this little pizza place down the road, and so I rushed over here. But hopefully the phones are ready to go, so anybody call in to be the first one to call to test it. And actually, we've got our first call. Let me go ahead and put this directly on, and hopefully we'll work. We might have to play with the volume a little bit here, but Beans and Dice podcast. State your name, where you're calling from. Hello. Oh, let me test my volume here. I apologize. Let's try it a little bit. Hello, Ron, you there? Ron Fraser, can you hear us? Try one more thing here. Sorry. Try again, Ron. Can you hear us, Ron? Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got
there
you.
There he is.
I was playing with the wrong volume dial. I apologize, Ron. How you doing?
I got a lot of things going on here.
Okay.
And surely you guys have had a lot of things going on there. So, of course, my sympathies to those who lost life and home and all that stuff. It's really terrible. Going through a hurricane like that, you guys know I'm from New Orleans, and
oh yeah,
even though I wasn't there, Katrina was, it was a major event in my life, even though I was hundreds of miles away at the time. And so it directly led to me moving to Atlanta, but that's a story for another time.
I bet.
Yeah.
Glad you guys are safe. And I noticed the Beans and Dice Discord chat was very quiet. I was unsurprised by that.
Yeah. We were all buckling down a little bit. I mean, we didn't know what to expect here, especially in the Tampa area. Like Wayne said, a good chunk of our participants are here right in the Tampa area, and up until I'd say the last 12 hours, we were preparing for the worst. It looked like they were predicting at one point that it was going to come right up Tampa Bay, and if that would have happened, that would have been catastrophic with the storm surge and all that stuff. So
while I live in Tampa, my job is technically in St. Pete, Clearwater, and like Diego, who lives across the bay, Pinellas County, which is the other side of Tampa Bay from Tampa, they usually get hit pretty hard, and their power system, when their power goes out, usually they're out for a while. So I know that during Irma, Pinellas County was without power for a week. So there were places that didn't have power for over a week. So even though Tampa Bay didn't get hit very hard, there's still a decent amount of damage in certain places, particularly Pinellas County. But
a lot of people without power and all that good stuff. But what you got going on, Ron? What's new in gaming news for you?
I mean, other than BGA, not getting out a whole lot. Although I have played Marvel Remix. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. It is the Marvel re-implementation of Fantasy Realms with a couple of little twists that make it, I think, a better game. So in Remix, instead of just you collecting a combination of cards to get points, you still do that, but you have to have at least one villain in your hand at the end of the game, or you don't score any points. You just lose.
Wow. So the villains give you negative points, or
they do give you negative points, but there are some ways that some of them give you positive points too.
Okay.
And then some of them blank you out if you have certain symbols, and they're interesting. Like you got some cards up here, right? Okay, you got some cards up there. So yeah, I'm really digging it, man. I don't own Fantasy Realms, and of course, my first exposure to this particular system was through Red Rising.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which I only played solo, and of course it's a more complex game. So for me, the jury's I enjoyed the solo experience, but the jury's still out for me on that as a multiplayer experience.
Have you played the regular Fantasy Realms, Ron?
Yeah, yep. I played it at Dice Tower East.
Okay. Yeah, it was a game Rob and Carlos actually taught me one of the times I was out there in Tampa, and I wasn't a big fan of it, maybe because I played Red Rising first, but this Marvel reskin of it has me intrigued for sure. I think I'd heard of this, but this is the first time I've kind of heard a review from somebody, and I know you're a big Marvel fan, so it makes me really want to try it out if you're giving it the stamp of approval.
Yeah. One of the things you might notice about looking at pictures of cards, there's less text overall.
Mm-hmm.
On the card.
Yep, I see that.
They rely more on symbols, and I don't think I think the symbols are easy enough to keep up with.
Yeah, I remember that being one part that I didn't like about Fantasy Realms. It was just like there was a lot to keep track of, and I think if there's symbols and also that theme, like, I mean, how strong is it? Like, is it going to make sense as a Marvel fan? Like, oh, this guy wants to be with this guy. Does it have that feel?
Oh, yeah. I really like that. For example, like, a couple of cards are double-sided, like you got Bruce Banner and Hulk.
The Hulk there, I see,
Tony
yeah.
Stark and yeah. like I think Captain America gets a bonus with a shield. And Thor gets a bonus for having Mjolnir or something like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I really liked it. It's definitely, if I'm choosing between the two, I would definitely play Marvel Remix over Fantasy Realms any day of the week, and twice on Sunday.
BJ agrees with you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is as much as a fanboy for comics and Marvel and DC, I don't own any superhero game other than Sentinels and Multiverse. I probably need to fix that and get a Marvel game of some kind.
Yeah. So there's plenty of good Marvel games. That's one thing that I like about the modern gaming movement is that the IP games have gotten better.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. It used to be, and we talked about this briefly on the show before, but it used to be. I mean, just 5 years ago, you saw a game come out with an IP, a famous movie, or based off of a famous TV show or something that people liked. I mean, it was pretty much garbage, and I feel like that started to change with some of the stuff that came out exclusive at Target. For better or for worse, there was a lot of stuff going through. There was definitely still some garbage, but some IP games started hitting the shelves at Target. They were a decent price. People started trying them out, and it seems like the quality has gotten better and better on a lot of these big IP games. But so definitely changed my mind on it.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. It's what is it? $25.
Okay.
So it's under that $30 threshold that I like to cover on the Dice Tower Board Game Breakfast.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised if you see it on there.
I might get a little heads up
nice.
on a coming thing here on Dice Tower.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, we get the inside scoop here on
Yeah,
Inside Dice.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, I'm changing the topic a little bit, Ron, but I saw on Facebook your wife got naturalized today, right? That's really exciting, man. Congrats.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was a long process. Just because of the way life events happen with us, and COVID. Like.
Okay. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're all pretty excited about that. Like, funny thing is, I have my in-laws are coming in town 2 weeks in 2 weeks, and they're going to be here to January. My in-laws from the Philippines, so it'll be their first time coming here to the States, and so we've had long discussions about having them like move in with us, and this is one of those things that'll make it easier to process with her actually being a citizen.
Sure.
So yeah, lots of exciting things happening in the Fraser household.
Very cool. All right. Well, you are you having anything to do with? I know you're working for the power company up there in Georgia. Are they sending a lot of people down here? I assume.
The different have mutual assistance agreements with the different EMCs and the other companies there in Florida. So you will most likely see some folks get deployed down there late this week, early next week, because we thought the coast was really going to get hit hard, and the storm is kept drifting, more and more eastward, and so there will be flooding on the coast. There always is flooding on the coast with any kind of storm like that.
Yeah.
But it won't be any, knock on wood, anything more than just what a big stormy weekend will be like that down there. So nothing that we can't handle.
Yeah.
With normal amount of resources. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was keeping me busy. That was also keeping me busy.
I bet.
Nice.
Preparation for that. So.
All right, Ron. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate the thoughts, and we appreciate the help. I don't guess we'll be seeing Ron Fraser making a surprise appearance down here, but I think you got a nice cushy desk job up there, huh?
Yep. Yeah. So I do field work, but I wouldn't leave the state anyway.
Okay.
But I might be down there later this year. I'll keep you guys posted.
We're hoping. Keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, if you get some thoughts coming this way, let us know. We'll get you set up down here.
All right. Cool. Take care, guys.
Thanks for calling, Ron. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ron.
Always nice to hear from the Ron Frazier.
The Ron Frazier, caller number 1. So let's make up number 1 of many, folks, this week. 813-618-7099. That phone line's back open. But I know we were getting ready to jump into a topic there.
Yeah, I was just going to say we could kind of go into some of the games we had played recently. I have one that I think you guys might be interested in. I have it queued up here on BGG if you don't mind. And guys, feel free to interrupt me if you guys want to call in. But
call right in.
I've told this story a million times, but at Dice Tower East, after the Tom Vassal Flea Market, there were like thousands of games left. Tom was like, grab a box, pay whatever you want, even if it's $0, fill it up. I started filling it up with games that I knew the publishers because I didn't know literally any of the games. And then I started going with cool box covers and things still in shrink. And I'm still working my way through these games. This weekend, I played one of them with BJ and Jeremy called Megalomania. On BGG, it literally has like, I think only 5 ratings. So it's not a very well-known game. I've never heard of the publisher or the artist, but I know you guys are fans of The Crew. And whenever I was reading the rules, it kind of intrigued me because this is basically The Crew, but competitive.
Huh.
BJ says it's better than Candyland.
Better than Candyland. Okay, that's a ringing endorsement, BJ.
Yeah. So it's basically The Crew, but competitive. So every round, an objective is going to flip out, and you're all trying to get that objective. Sometimes multiple people can get the objective. Sometimes it'll say if you do this, then you'll actually lose points. So just every round, you're keeping track of whether or not you got the objective or failed the objective. And then after the end of the 12 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. Every round, the trump card changes, which seems cool, but it gets confusing. You have to refer to this little bitty rule book over here. But the cards all have powers. But you have to put these crystals on them to activate their powers. And every round you get income. You can either get 10 of these black cubes, 2 crystals to activate the card powers, or you can get 1 crystal and 5 black cubes. The black cubes can manipulate your numbers either up or down, because sometimes you want to win the trick, sometimes you want to lose the trick. And like I said, the crystals activate the cards. And then in lieu of that, you can get what's called, I think they're like contract or something like that. These other scrolls, there we go, that have different powers. And it seems really, really straightforward. Like it's just a trick-taking game, but then there's these objectives. So like one time it was like get exactly 3 tricks, or get an odd number of tricks, or don't get any tricks. And I don't know, the rules just kept bending and changing based on the scrolls and the card powers. So it was a pleasantly surprising experience.
So do you do any pre-trick bidding at all, or you just play the objective each time?
You just play the objective each time.
Okay, so there's no bidding, no trying to hit certain numbers. You're just whatever that objective, and it's just one objective each round that comes up. Everybody's kind of fighting to try to get that objective.
Yeah, and it tells you how many cards will be dealt based on the objective, because sometimes that affects it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting and different. I mean, again, if you like The Crew, it's basically The Crew, but you're fighting for yourself instead of working together.
Cool. And how many objectives are there? And there's a lot of variety, or?
So we were playing at 3 players, and of course it scales with player count. There were 11 different objectives that work at 3 players, which I thought was crazy because you were supposed to play 12 rounds. So we ended up just playing 11 rounds because it's like rather than shuffling these and getting one more. But there are a lot more, I think, for more players whenever you get to 4 players. But yeah, we were pleasantly surprised by it. BJ didn't like the negative cards where like if you don't get this objective, you lose these points, which I think I agree with him as well. But yeah, no, Jeremy and I were saying none of these games that I've gotten from this box have been horrible. They've all been like at least okay. And yeah, but and actually BJ brought these back for me because I couldn't fit them on the plane. So thanks, thanks for that.
And it only cost you $20. So I mean, even
it's for like a lot of games.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, you can't beat that. So
yeah, here's BJ saying what he's saying. He liked the green cards, but not the red ones.
Hey, got another call coming in. There you go. I know this one, so I'll go ahead and I don't know about the screening thing, but I'm going to cue this one up anyway. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name, where you're calling from.
Hello and good evening, gentlemen. This is Nick from Wesley Chapel, Florida. Calling a little early this week.
Nick Oben, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear your voice this early.
No axe throwing.
I'm guessing no axe throwing this week, yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, no axe throwing, which is a bummer. I know parts of Wesley Chapel are without power, but I actually think that the the Grove Highland Axe Throwing is actually with power right now. It just they made the call 2 days ago actually before the storm hit to go ahead and cancel, which makes sense. I'm sure there are several league members that probably don't have power and would rather not to just head out and ignore their problems. So.
Leave just staffing and all that good stuff. And like I said, we were driving around tonight just trying to find a food place that was open. The few that were open were packed with people. Right. So yeah, a lot of businesses I think had to make that call early. So yep.
Very good. No, but so calling in. Actually, the game Mitchell was just talking about sounds really cool. The Megalomania. I mean, he mentioned the crew, and at first we perked up because that's been a mainstay of our game a day challenge here with 50 plus plays in there of the crew. So might have to check this one out.
So what's the latest update on that? Any new games in the rotation this last week?
Yeah. Let me see. Totally new to me. Sure. We'll start there. Totally new to me, although only kind of new. I got the Star Realms.
Nope. Did we lose you? Think we lost Nick, maybe?
Oh, y'all not hearing him? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear me, Nick. Give me 1 second. The guys said they're not hearing you.
Yep.
I'm hearing you just fine.
Now I hear him.
Are y'all hearing us? Okay, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Yes.
All right, keep going. I'm sorry.
The only strictly speaking new box, and it's not even a new game, a new box is Star Realms, the Nova collection. I don't even know if it's on BGA or BGG, sorry, right now, but it's just Star Realms. But it was a Kickstarter they did years ago. This is a almost 2-year-old late. It was supposed to be here in November of 2020. And so it just arrived. It did just arrive in the last week or so. And basically it was an opportunity to get all of the content for Star Realms plus in like one package, like in a big box. Basically, it was basically Star Realms, the big box. That's what it was.
Okay.
Star Realms, the big box. And then they also did a nice production. It's they foil, like the foil reflection or whatever. They did that for every card, which the kids love. I think it is really cool. It is really cool.
Maybe not so practical,
but yeah. Oh my goodness! Like you're looking down at your hand and you're like, oh, blinded by the light.
Yeah.
It's like rainbows shining in your eyes. A couple of the factions started to look a little similar, but then like most things, you kind of adjusted and started getting used to it. And then for better or for worse, you just stop noticing it. So then it's kind of funny. It's kind of like, well, they took all this time to make these crazy blinged out cards. I mean, I don't know if you can find pictures of it, but I mean, it's that reflective rainbow foiling of the whole card. And the best thing I can say about it is at first it does look really cool. And it's neat to have a whole deck of them, the whole Star Realms collection, basically, in that foil, which is neat. But then after like 5 or 6 minutes, you just get used to seeing it, and then it's not even a thing anymore. And so, but anyway, Star Realms is a great game. The boys and I had a good time. We did a little round robin on that because it shines at 2 players. You can certainly do 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 players, but it's a nice heads up game. So we did a series of heads up Star Realms battles.
And did you say Star Realms is completely new to you, or just this set was new to you?
No, this set. This
okay.
set is new to me. And it did. So it did come. Yeah. So we only owned Star Realms Frontiers prior.
Okay.
One of the small boxes that you can get on Amazon for like $12 or whatever. And actually, what's neat is the Nova collection does not actually include the Frontiers box. So it's not every card ever made. And it was kind of like the perfect thing for me here. I'll actually pull it out right here. It's a neat box. It's got the like the magnetic closing lid that like opens up like a briefcase.
Okay, yeah.
That style of lid, and so it includes all cards from the original Star Realms box, plus Crisis Bases and Battleships, Crisis Events, Crisis Fleets and Fortress, Crisis Heroes, the Gambit set, the Cosmic Gambit set, Promo Pack 1, and promo cards from the Universal Storage Box, plus starting decks and explorers for up to 6 players. And then it comes with a board. This thing here, because it is a big box, it actually gives you a player board. A main central board that you can put the market out, and it's got 2-sided boards, so it has 2 different arts on it, and then it has life dials for up to 6 players. So
I'm looking at
really
the
like
picture here on
it turns
BGG,
into-
and for a big box, it looks like there's a ton of wasted space. Is that correct?
So yes, that is correct. I mean, it's crazy. We open up the box, and I'm not gonna lie. After waiting 2 years, and we've been getting updates from them about how they were struggling with the foil production and everything, and it was just crazy. And it was like, holy crap!
Where's my game?
2 years. 2 years extra to deliver what is ultimately. I mean, it's not even like they sugarcoat it. They tell you what's in it. It's like, it's 100 and something cards and the 6 life dials and some boards. I mean, it's not even a ton of material. Now, that being said, the idea is you can put all of anything that's not included. Like, for instance, the Frontiers cards that we already had, I now have in this box. If I buy other expansions or whatever, because it's not every card ever made. Like I said, I believe the idea is that it will hold every card ever made for Star Realms.
So the insert seems to be geared towards putting more stuff in there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, and it's got room for just more stuff, and it does have neat dividers. So like you divide it up by the different types of cards if you want to or whatever. It's definitely made with the idea that you're a Star Realms collector and you're going to have other cards besides what came in this Kickstarter. But if you don't, the stuff that came in the box could fit in a box a third the size probably.
A bit of a shameless plug. I throw the insert thing in there because part of our podcast that's coming out this Sunday is we had a brief discussion as part of a larger discussion, but we talked about inserts and whether you keep them, whether you throw them out, what our thoughts were on inserts. So anybody who's interested in some more in-depth discussions and some things we talk about, definitely chime in or tune in to the podcast that's going to hit this Sunday. But I think you sound like you had some other games you wanted to tell us about.
Yeah, well, just looking out, we had the game day on this past Saturday, and a standout there was surprisingly enough Burgle Brothers, which I played with Michelle of the Beans and Dice group and whatnot, and her and I did back-to-back games. We lost the first and won the second. We actually played. Once you get it all set up, it actually is a pretty easy game to just keep set up. For those that aren't familiar. You set up like you are burglars trying to rob a bank, if that's the base scenario, or there's other scenarios. But either way, you've got these 3 levels that you have to peruse to: first, second, and third level, going up the stairs. And so once you have it set up, you could actually spam the game. You could play it 2 to 3 or 4 times if you wanted to, trying different characters, trying different strategies. Especially because it is a game that is tough. We lost the first one. But I think it did a great. It was very, very nice at 2 players co-op. It instantly jumped very high on my list of like, oh, small box, easy setup, quick play, very fulfilling, strategic 2-player co-op game. I just had a ton of fun playing with her with the show.
It is one of those odd-sized boxes that some people don't like because it has a hard time finding its way into some organizers and shelving units and things like that. So it is one of those weird ones. But yeah, I mean, this is a game I played up for the first time ever on BGA, Board Game Arena, with a couple of you from the group. It was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. That was my first experience, but.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I again, that was the first time I played it on BGA as well. It would be interesting playing this real time as well, like in person.
Yeah. The asynchronous nature that we did, and we could do on BGA is we could do a real time evening game.
Yeah,
asynchronous was rough. That took a hard game. It took a hard game and basically made it impossible.
Yeah,
because I mean Michelle and I just going back and forth were basically taking, it's a little bit of turn by committee, right? You're like, oh, should I do this? I don't know. Maybe you should do that, kind of thing. Basically every time in order to be successful. So with 4 players, it gets even more punishing because there's just more. The guard is going to move so much more between your turns, and there's nothing you can do about it. If it's not your turn, you just sit there and wait for the guard to come get you. And then the async nature made it really tough. But it was a good one. And then Mitchell, just want to throw out, we did also play Turing Machine.
Yes.
I know you and I played at Dice Tower. And that's a good one. It is funny though. That one really pushes the envelope about what is a board game.
Yeah, or activity.
What is a logic activity that you would expect in junior year high school math towards the end of the year,
Yep.
and the teacher was just trying to keep the students busy. I mean, that's what it feels like. It's kind of like you show up to math class, you got a substitute teacher, and it's kind of like, all right, instead of your regular class, we're going to do this logic puzzle. Ready, go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that makes it a board game is that you have to try to do it in the least number of turns.
It's a race.
Other than that, it's a puzzle. I agree.
Well,
Exactly.
this could be this is maybe even a little bit more complex, but this is screaming sort of that Mensa Select Award game, like where it's they pick the game that's not necessarily a game, but it's challenging to your brain. It makes you think about certain math or science in a different way. So
Absolutely.
So, speaking back to Burger Bros,
Yeah,
you play Burger Bros with just two people, you and your wife. Have you tried The Fugitive from Tim Powers, which is meant to be a 2-player game and it's portable?
Real quick, Wayne, before you get me in trouble with Michelle from the Beans and Dice group. Not Michelle, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry. My bad. I thought you said your wife. My bad.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
My bad.
No, and I'm sorry, what was the question?
I got us sidetracked.
It's my bad. I miss her. I miss her.
Whoops.
No. So, have you played The Fugitive from Tim Powers games, which is a 2-player game?
I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it's good. I've got this one on Kickstarter, I think, and it's made to be portable. It comes in like this cool little briefcase. It's got that magnetic clasp on it, and it's you're basically one person's playing a fugitive, one person's playing sort of the Scotland Yard or whatever it is, trying to track them down, and you're playing numbers in certain order, and you have to try to the fugitive needs to get all the way from like 1 to 75 or whatever the highest number is, and you're trying to play cards to catch them, and it's kind of a cool little game. Like you can move multiple distance, but then you have to play other cards to show how far you've gone, and you have different sort of I can, as the Scotland Yard type player, I'm drawing cards as well and marking off on a little dry erase board numbers that I know that is not the fugitive. So it's a cute little 2-player game. Travels very easily. It's a very small little pocket type of game. So Tim Flowers. So if you like the Burger Brothers theme and that kind of artwork, this is a good one to check out as well.
Cool. No, that's one I haven't heard
Very
of.
cool. And you said it was a Kickstarter. Is it available retail, or you just got to find someone that's got it?
I think it might be available retail. I have to see.
And check out the marketplace there and see if you see it on the Mitchell's got the BGG up. See if there's any. Yeah,
You might be able to get it from the publisher.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. If not, I got a copy. I
There you
more
go.
than I can loan it out.
It's
Yeah,
available.
bring it to game day. We'll try it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
2-player. You said. Yep.
Yep, 2-player. Yep. And it's quick too, 5 to 10 minutes each game, probably.
Oh, cool. Yeah, bring that sometime. We'll play it as a filler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good. Other than that, just game of day going strong. Landis actually picked out Santorini tonight, which we hadn't played in. We hadn't played that. I don't think this year. So it's a new one for the rotation, I guess.
Nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
Not new to us. Yeah, it's nice. We did the 3-player, me, Leo, and Landis, and actually it's funny. Here, I'll go on a little thing real quick. Kind of related to the podcast topic from last week, how there's no perfect game. Just pick a game and play. It'll be fun, right? That seems to be one of the big takeaways from this experience. This, I think, was a good example. Santorini is not a game that I think I would actually ever pull off the shelf myself. But Landis did, and it was fun. And we ended up playing 3 games in a row.
Wow.
Because the boys were just like, let's play again. And I'm like, all right, well, each game takes like 10 minutes. Sure, why not? Let's just play again. We each picked different god powers, to be each game, and they had a blast. It was, it's a good reminder for me that they are actually only 9 and 11, and while they can play Viscounts of the West Kingdom, for example, or Arnak or something, a game like Santorini, they'll sit there and keep playing until I tell them to put it away. And so that's cool. Good time.
Good stuff.
Yeah, this is one my kids love,
Yep.
and actually they're really good at it too. It's one that they can really grok.
I own this as well. I enjoy it a lot, and it's a BGA actually has a really good implementation of it. Although I never play this game more than 2-player. I know that like the Kickstarter version came with like a way to play it 3 and 4-player. It just doesn't. It really is a 2-player game. It's a fun game.
Correct. Yeah. The rules even say it is designed as a 2-player, but here's the 3 and 4-player variants. Where the 4-player variant is simply 2 teams of 2, which basically boils it right back down to a 2-player game.
Right.
Yeah. I don't like.
I played it that way. I played that way a few times. Yeah, but me and Carlos have played that way a few times. But yeah, definitely meant to be a head-to-head game.
Yep, it's good stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
I say that.
Very good.
I was gonna say, I think Santorini is a good example of what Kickstarter does to the board game industry, because I remember, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, at a board game convention or Dragon Con or Gen Con, there was a guy, he had like handmade copies of Santorini that he was selling to people, that he was showing and demoing the game, and eventually it got picked up and then Kickstarted, and it became this beautiful productive copy. But it's a game that's been around for a long time. It took a long time to find its sort of its market or its backer to then put it on Kickstarter and then sell it, and then it's in Target and stuff now too. So it's kind of interesting. You have this game that was someone's passion project for a number of years, and has made it into a mainstream board game, which is kind of cool.
For sure. Cool.
Right on. Yep. Love it. All right. You guys have a great rest of your show. I'll be listening here, just kind of hanging out.
All right, cool.
Thanks,
let us know if you need anything. I know you're out at the farm. Hopefully everything weathered the storm okay out that way.
We did, yeah. Thank you. Actually, Tuesday was a tough day. Tuesday, the prep day, because it wasn't clear yet that Ian was really gonna mostly miss us, and even if it was looking like it was heading east a little bit, you still got to prep. And yeah, with 5 acres to prep, there was a fair bit of time spent, battening down the hatches, quite literally. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like make sure the chicken coop is not going to fly open and have the chickens get carried away by 100-mile-an-hour wind or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, let us know.
It was good, actually. Okay.
I'll just say, let us know if you need anything. Of course, the group's always here to help out. So I know you got a little chunk of land there to maintain, but if you need anything, we're here.
All right. No, I appreciate it. We're good right now, but, there's always farm chores if you just want to come over.
Oh, well, always. Yeah. That's always fun.
Always.
Have a good night, Nick.
You guys have a good one.
Appreciate it for calling.
Yep. Bye-bye.
And Nick Oben, regular caller, another one
Yeah.
on the list there. I'm just going to hit real quick before we jump into anything else, just because he mentioned that he was gaming with Michelle at the game day this weekend. Actually, I picked up a couple of new games that Michelle was trying to offload, and neither one of them are super exciting here, but a couple of older games that I wanted to pick up. So my family really enjoys this Unlock series. I don't know, have you guys played any of the Unlocks at all?
The escape games.
They're little escape room in a box. Yeah, and it's
Mhm.
just all of these are just it's a deck of cards. They're numbered and you can put them back in order, and you just go through and it's little puzzles. You're just kind of matching up numbers on the cards, and when you get the right combinations, then you flip over other cards. It's got an app that comes with it. There's about 30 of these, I think, probably in the series now. It's got to be roughly around there, but my family really enjoys these. These play in an hour. You're playing against the clock, and you're scored at the end depending on how well you do and how long it takes you to get through it. If you go over the hour, you continue playing until you figure it out. But there's ways to take hints and jump past stuff. And Michelle was getting rid of a couple of these, and so this was one I didn't have. This one is the Unlock Exotic Adventures Scheherazad's Last Tale. And then another one I picked up is this one I've been needing for a while. I say needing. It's rare that I ever need a game, but the Century series. This is not the Golem edition. This is the original. But I had picked up the first 2 games in the series, Spice Road. And what's the second one? The second one was Eastern Wonders. And for a long time, I had been wanting to pick up a New World, the third one in the series. And for whatever reason, it kind of just got out of sight, out of mind. I never thought about it. And for probably about 2 years now, I've been wanting to pick it up, and and it came through. So this one does not have a name on it. So we're going to grab this one out of. Oh no, it does have a name. I know who this is. Let's put him on the air. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name, where you're calling from.
It's Lorenzo from I-84 in La Grande, Oregon.
Woo! Michael Lorenzo, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Weathered the storm, literally, but we're doing pretty good.
And you guys dodged a bullet down there.
Tell me about it. Yeah, we've been talking about how those just south of us were not so lucky. Just about 2 hours south of here, Sarasota area, Sanibel, Captiva, those islands down there, they got demolished. And unfortunately, there's going to be a decent amount of lost lives down there. But our fortune was their peril, but we did get really lucky. But how's everything up in your neck of the woods?
Good. I'm actually in the process of driving down there for work.
Oh, they put you down here on cat duty.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Michael, I was watching you guys on my iPad while I'm driving to keep me awake.
Oh.
And I figured.
Eyes on the road. Eyes on the road.
Are you driving from Oregon to Florida?
Yeah. I'm driving from Seattle to Florida.
Seattle. He's coming from Seattle, so all the way from Seattle to Florida.
But I think he probably plans on being here for a while because of what he does. Right. You're called to duty to help assess damage and insurance stuff.
Adjuster. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about multi-million claims. So there'll be enough work there for quite some time.
Yeah, it'll be months and months and months probably.
My guess is it's in the billions.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, from what I understand, citizens alone, they were expecting like if the hurricane was going to, they're expecting 250,000 claims in Tampa alone.
Wow. So, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, we just got the edge of it here, and there's still people without power. I have employees on my team that didn't have power all day today. They were, they're hoping, keeping their fingers crossed, they're going to have it power back on by tomorrow. Luckily, I had one little flicker here, but we kept power on here at my place. So, but yeah, well, we are looking forward to seeing you then. Unfortunately, it's not on the circumstances that we would have hoped to have been able to see you, but hopefully you'll have to come by and say hi and meet up with us. Try to get a game or two in. I know you're gonna be busy. They're gonna keep you working probably 20-hour days, I imagine, down here.
It's gonna be pretty nuts. I was actually gonna. I mean, I can say it now, but I was gonna surprise you guys and show up for your turn con. I had my airline tickets and everything, and I was gonna show up.
That would have been quite the surprise. Yeah. Wow. So everything changed now, though.
Yeah. I mean, they give you some time off every now and then, so I'm going to try and take some time off and at least get one day of gaming in while I'm down there. So
awesome.
But yeah, I didn't call to talk storms though.
No, go ahead. So what you been playing? What you been up to?
So I'll run through what I got recently. I finally got Wave 2 of Dungeonology, which took over 2 years for that to deliver.
Wow.
Didn't think I was going to get it. So I got that. Got Wave 2 of Ether Fields, which I was a single shipper on that one.
Okay.
I think I went all in on it. So that was a big one. I got Oathsworn in.
Oh, I want to play some Oathsworn.
So do I. That ain't gonna happen for a while now.
It's gonna sit on your shelf.
And then I got Flamecraft in a couple of days ago. So yeah.
Nice.
A lot of games in recently, but as far as playing, I taught my wife, my friend's daughter, and her friend Mansions of Madness the other night.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was like a 4-hour game because I was kind of referencing the manual a little bit for some of the rules I wasn't 100 them how to play, but I mean, all three of them, they absolutely loved it. Like I didn't think my wife was gonna like it, but she was like all into it and everything. So it was kind of cool to,
That one can be a good one.
I would like it to teach
it could be a good
long game that they actually like.
Yeah, a good one with new gamers because there's so much theme in that, and if you're into that kind of that dark side of things at all, I think this is one that can really bring you in. This is when my daughter, Emmy, she was one of her early games. I mean, she'd played some board games, but this was the first kind of heavier game that she'd sat down, and Carlos and I were planning to play through part of the, I call it a campaign. I don't think it's officially a campaign, but you can string a bunch of the stories together and kind of play them back to back to back.
Yeah.
And we did that. We played through 3 or 4 of them, and she really got into it, and she really liked that the theme and everything in this one. But yeah, that's a good one. And if, like I say, if people are interested in that Cthulhu kind of stuff at all, this one really can hook people and bring them in.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite games. Yeah. And it, my only issue is they're kind of done with expansions, but I really wish they would come out with more app based, they could get me for $5-6 every couple months with a new mission with the stuff I got. I really wish they would, because I'll buy them. I own everything for the game, but I'm kind of the point where I've played most of those missions, and it's like it's hard to go back and play them again unless it's just been long enough that you forget about it. But I really wish they would support it with some additional DLC content.
Some content, yeah.
Well, this was the I think the fourth time I played the first mission, and every single time I played it, it's been different. I mean, the same storyline,
right.
But as far as laying out the mansion that you're in, and every single time it's been slightly different, which is I enjoy that. That's pretty cool how they do that. So
yeah, definitely keep you on your toes a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then the other game that I taught a friend of mine on Undaunted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, another good one.
And he's a hard one to kind of pin because he doesn't like tech builders. He doesn't like engine builders. He's not a fan of cube pushers. And it's like half his collection now is practically like trick-taking games. He only likes card games for some reason. So I was like, well, let's give this one a try. And I showed it to him, and he was like, by the second round, he was like, oh, man, I really like this game. You're going to, like, talk me into getting this one. So
and this one's got some...
that's one of my favorites.
Some unique mechanics, and that it's a little tile-based war game, and they have a couple now that are slightly different timelines, different scenarios. But there's a whole deck building, or I shouldn't say deck building. It's a hand building kind of mechanic in it. You can take different actions to add either more of one type of unit to your hand that'll give you some more flexibility in moving around and attacking with that unit, or you can diversify and have a bunch of different types of units, but then you don't have as many of those cards. The cards you draw of those units allow you to actually take the actions with those units. And so if you diversify and have lots of different kinds of units, and you have more units and more chits on the board, you're drawing those cards less frequently because your hand's kind of clogged up. You've got so much diversity in there, and you're not being able to act with all those units. So there are some interesting trade-offs in this game just from the beginning, just from setting up your deck, deciding which path you're gonna go, diversify and get a bunch of stuff out there, or go, just pick a couple units, go hard into those two, and just play until maybe one of them gets killed off, and then you can bring another unit onto the battlefield. And there's some neat objectives in this one, too. The objectives from scenario to scenario change, and you can play through them in a campaign and string them together and then play like the best 6 out of 7 or 6 out of 7, best 4 out of 7 or something like that. It's there's lots of neat little mechanics in this one.
Yeah, and the one mechanic I like is because you're dealing yourself a hand of 4 cards every round. And you have to play one of the cards out of your hand for initiative.
Initiative, yeah.
And some of those rounds, it's like, if I don't go first this round, like I know he's going to take out my guys or whatever it is. So it's like you're playing really powerful cards out of your hand for initiative. And when you play those cards, you're not allowed to use them in that round.
Right.
So it's a neat trade-off with that mechanic. So
there's lots of meaty decisions in this one. I like this one quite a bit. It's got a little bit of a learning curve to it. It took me and Carlos a couple of games to kind of really figure out what we were doing, but it's one you can kind of get deep into, and with the little scenario or the different scenarios and the campaigns they have on it, it's you can really get pretty heavy into this one.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's been going on.
Good stuff. Yeah, well,
all right, I'll let you guys go for tonight. I got to get my eyes back on the road, and I'll see you guys. I might see you next week. You never know.
All right, well, let us know when you're here. We'll have to, if nothing else, we'll meet up for some beverages or something. We'll figure something out. But we gotta meet up as soon as you get down here.
Absolutely, man. Sounds good.
All right, don't be a stranger, Mike. Appreciate it. Be safe.
All right, take care. Bye.
Oh, phone line's back open, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say nice surprise they're hearing from Michael Lorenzo. He calls in every great once in a while, but he's over on the other coast now. He a Tampa area guy here for a long time, and then relocated to Seattle, I guess just a little over maybe a year ago now. But in any case, yeah, phone line back open, 813-618-7099. Keep those calls coming.
You were saying that you got the new before the call, you were talking about you got the unlock.
Yeah,
I haven't tried them yet, but I have friends of ours basically friends of theirs gave them like every unlock they had finished and passed it on. Now they're playing them.
Nice.
So hopefully in the near future, I'll have a bunch of them to try. My wife and I, we do like escape rooms, actual physical escape rooms. So we like those. I also picked up, there's a little escape room 18 card games that are themed on the holidays that have been coming out lately. So I picked up those to try because we like those. They're fun, you know.
Yeah, one of the things about the Unlock series, I'll just hit it because you mentioned there, is passing them on, and that's something that Carlos and I did a little bit. The first couple, he bought a couple and I bought a couple, and these are completely, again, it's a deck of cards. It's not destructible at all. It's you just put the cards back in numerical order, and then you can hand them off to somebody else, and somebody else can play through the experience. I was going to say, I haven't tried any of the Exit series games. I hear that some people like those better. Those are, for the most part, destructible, though, from what I understand. A lot of them, you're writing on stuff, you're ripping stuff, you're cutting stuff up. Yeah, so I want to try those, but I've loved the idea with the unlocks of them being able to play and then hand off to somebody else, and then letting somebody else have that experience. And sometimes me and my wife will play, and then we'll have the kids play them, and we'll kind of compete. You know, we'll see what our score was and see what their score was, and so it can be fun that way too. But yeah, there's a whole series of them out, and there's a Neil Patrick Harris came out with one. I forget what the name of it is, but it's one that's in Target, and I've heard some surprisingly good reviews on that one. And suppose that's the first box of what's going to actually be like a 3-box series, and they're going to lead into each other. And supposedly he
box one is what it's called.
Box one.
I remember. I see this. There's this commercial that kept coming on my social media. It's like, everybody loves board games, but there aren't enough board games you could play with one player. And I'm like, bet. Yes, there are. You just don't know about them.
Liar. Funny. But yeah, supposedly those are really good. I know Tom over on Dice Tower, Tom Vassal, gave it a really good review. I think it was Tom or Z. Yeah, Tom from Florida. There you go. Exactly. So.
The sorry, I had to look it up because my brain wasn't working right. But the Grand Gamers Guild, they have a series of escape room games. They're little 18-card escape room games, and they're basically everyone is themed off of a holiday. So there's the Independence Incident, there's like the Halloween Caper, the Kringle Caper, or whatever. So. And they're like, you know, a couple bucks because they're little, you know, and they're travel. So little card games, you can throw them in your back pocket, and 18-card escape room. And there's like a little app. There's a website you basically go to, and it says if you got it right or wrong. So it's kind of cool. If you're looking for like a one to travel with, you could look up there. The Holiday Hijinks series. There's the Independence Incident. So yeah, there's I think 6 of them out right now. So there's Valentine's Day, Halloween, Christmas, birthday, 4th of July, and maybe one other. So, and they play they play in about an hour, and they have difficulty ratings of 1 to 5. So there's like a 3. Most of them are 3, 4, 5. So they're kind of cool.
And how long? This is what 30 to 60 minutes. Okay, so it's about the similar. I mean, like I said, the unlock is you're on an app and it's giving you a 60-minute countdown. So it sounds like it's pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just recently did an exit game. I didn't realize they had a Lord of the Rings one, which is pretty cool.
Oh, somebody told me about that. Yeah. How was it?
It was pretty good. My only thing is, I don't know. So I do escape rooms too. In real life, I've done over 100 of them. I'm a big enthusiast.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm super competitive when it comes to my times. And, you know, in a real escape room, you read everything, you know, because you never know what's going to be useful or not. And I realized about halfway through that Lord of the Rings exit one that there's a ton of text because it's trying to tell the Lord of the Rings story, but really you only have to read like the last sentence of each page, and sometimes it's like bolded or underlined. And so, but like I felt like I needed to read it because that's the whole point, the theme, you know. But I was like,
that slows you down.
It's costing us time. I'm reading a whole page. I'm like Busta Rhymes trying to wrap this out here, you know. But and nobody can understand what I'm saying. I'm just like, you know, the Nazgul coming, so you have to go across Buckleberry Ferry and all this.
rush it,
trying to get to the bold at the end, and it even got to the point where like they would ignore me reading it and just go and look at the bottom and
jump to the
grabbing
bottom,
the components they needed. So that was my only detractor from it, but it was pretty good. Yeah,
pretty good. And I believe Unlock has a Star Wars theme one.
Oh, they do. They've got a box that's 3 Star Wars ones. I've done one of those 3. I haven't done the other 2 yet. I know Dice Tower rated one of them bad, one of them good, and one of them okay. The one we played, we liked it quite a bit. There were a few little tricky things in it, so I'm hoping that was the okay one. Because I'm hoping there's a better one in that series, but I do want to play it. They've got it over at Your Turn, and that's where I played it. And so I'm looking forward to playing the other 2 in that series just to see.
Have y'all played this one? I think this was the original one, Escape Room, the game.
I haven't. There's a couple in that series, but yeah, that's got the little plastic,
the little keys that you put into. I thought this was pretty cool. And so whenever the other ones started coming out with that are more card based, I was like, what is this? Like, if you're
Yeah.
trying to be an escape room, you got to have a little machine, right? But honestly, I remember the first 2 missions in here being pretty good and the last one's not being great. So I think their components were going well for them, but not necessarily their puzzles weren't always.
And they've got a couple in that series. There's one that's set on Alcatraz, I know, in the escape room, that same box series. I know there's at least one other in the
Oh,
series.
wow. It says there's 13 re-implementations. So there must
Oh,
be
okay. I was gonna say, I think there's several in the series. I didn't know there was 13. I thought there was 4 or 5, but yeah, they've got different ones. And again, I'm always a ratings guy, so I've gone on. I think Tom rated all of them, and he definitely liked some of these and really didn't like some of them. So he's a big escape room guy, Tom Vassell. But so I want to try those too. I like the escape room stuff, and yeah, I need to do some real escape rooms sometime. Hear they're a blast.
Yeah, real escape rooms are pretty good. My wife and there's even like you can like a month-to-month subscription. We did that for a while of one.
Yep.
We lost interest after a while, so we didn't finish it. But it was kind of cool. Like every month you'd get a box, and it would have like a portfolio in it that you have to go through and try to solve whatever online and the web and so stuff like that. But the really in-person ones are the way to go. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Phone line's still open, folks. 813-618-7099. We're coming up close on the 10 o'clock Eastern hour here. Again, we'll stretch this a little bit more if people are wanting to call in and talk to us. But
sure.
So definitely keep calling in. I see some comments there. Tom from Florida says, Carlos, yeah. Tom plays with guys at work. Yeah, play with guys at work.
I used to own an escape room too, Sam. How the heck did we not talk about that at Dice Tower?
Wow.
What the heck? That's cool.
Something in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I can say that you guys had your game day on Saturday before the hurricane hit. I went to a convention and got 33 different plays of games in the weekend.
No need
tell us about all those.
Right?
Yeah, tell us about all 33.
Yeah, tell you about 33.
You got 4 minutes.
I got 4 minutes. Yeah, no. But I'll talk about a new game. Just got it in the mail a couple weeks back. Trekking Through History.
Ah, yes.
The third in the series, right?
Third in the series, yes. From Underdog Games. Charlie Bink is the designer. Great game, fun. It was, all of the games are fairly light. They were all kind of around Ticket to Ride-ish as far as complexity. But I tell you what, this company, I'm a big Kickstarter guy. I got 50, 60 Kickstarters, whatever that is. But they are on lock, man. You order from,
Unlock was the other game.
Yeah, they have it on
lock.
Not only is production value great, the game tray is amazing. Just the production was quick. I mean, I only kickstarted it earlier this year and it's already here, right? They really do a good job of that. So got a call coming in.
Yeah, I got a call coming in.
Just in time.
Let's throw this one on and see. Yep. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Mitchell Prudhomme from New Iberia.
Oh, hey,
what's
Mitchell,
up, BJ?
How are you? It's BJ from Board Game Gumbo. How are you?
Hey, I know there's only a couple of minutes left, so I just wanted to call in real quick.
Oh, no, you're good.
Just popped into the house. And Mitchell, we've got a big, giant box of Everdell.
Oh.
We're about to break it open.
Oh, are you guys going to go on live?
We're going to go online. We're going to break it open. I have no idea what's in this thing.
Nice. I've been seeing the pictures of these boxes being delivered. They're huge. I could fit my 18-year-old in one of them, I think.
So you just got to give us 15, 20 minutes for the show to end, and then we'll join you over on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I was trying to park on a hillside, and I just used the box as a chuck on the back of
Oh,
my
yeah.
camper.
I've seen that.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. Stopping 18-wheelers and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Hey, it was a great show. Love the escape stuff. I love the detective and the Unlock series. If anybody's played any of those are two great series.
Yeah, liking the Unlock. My family's really liking those, and I know Wayne mentioned about the ratings. I think these Unlocks, they rate them. It's 1, 2, and 3 in this series. Yeah, 1, 2, or 3 on the difficulty. And the ones I really enjoy. The family really enjoys doing the ones. The 2s are definitely challenging. I have not actually tried a 3 level one yet. I know there's a handful of them out there, but they can get tough.
Now the detective.
Now, I will say last.
Sorry, I was gonna say.
So, yeah, detective is more. It's not really escape room style. It's more like a police procedural style. It's like being inside a CSI, where you're trying to figure out what the crime is and who did it.
Like Chronicles
really
of
cool.
Crime.
Sort of, but in a card base like Unlock. And it's resettable like Unlock, unlike the exit games where you're not tearing anything up. You're
Cool.
just setting up, but it makes these cool little 3D. Look, there it is. Yeah, it makes these cool little 3D dioramas. That's pretty fun. But I'll leave you with one last thing. So Mitchell asked me to bring all these games back all the way from Orlando, and the thanks I got was to play Megalomania.
Oh, you said you enjoyed it.
I'm joking. I enjoyed the green cards, not so much the red cards. I had a good time. Any kind of trick taker is fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, well, great show, man. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks
Thanks
for
for calling,
calling.
BJ.
Those of you guys watching, in a couple minutes, go jump on Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo, right?
Yep.
Is that the right link?
That's it. Twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo, New Iberia, hashtag Mitchell Prudhomme,
Hashtag Leslie Bonton Roulet.
Yeah. So he'll be
Leslie
unboxing
Bonton
Everdell
Roulet.
shortly. Y'all.
Nice.
So we'll jump on over there after the show.
Tune in for that. Thanks for calling, BJ. Have a good night.
BJ.
Later.
Yeah, I missed. We were taping our podcast the other night when BJ was last live, and I saw he was on. I get the notification. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's on. He's on. But that was gonna be my question. The detective, does it reset? And that's kind of cool because I like that. I like the idea that when you play it, you can pass it on, or you can replay it later on if you've forgotten it. Once enough time has passed, you forgot the story, you could replay the game. So that's kind of cool. Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. And I always wonder about the thinking behind that. I mean, they make these games and they allow you just to pass them off to somebody. You would think the companies wouldn't do that. I mean, it's almost like you print one game and then everybody in the world can play it, but they must be doing well enough with it because they keep pumping them out. So yeah, good stuff.
Nice. For sure. Well, I guess that brings us to the 10 o'clock hour. I know Carlos isn't there, but he said, if I don't hear anything, I'm cutting off the phone at 10. So
so he may be shutting us down either way, but
I can quickly finish the trekking through history.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
for sure.
So I know Sam played it as well, but it's fun. I enjoy all of their games. So I mean, I own all the trekking the parks, trekking the world, and now trekking through history. And basically, this game is different than the other ones. The other two, you're mapping out the world, you're traveling to the different parks. This one is there's a tableau or a sort of a splay of 5 or 6 cards that the game is played over 3 days, and you're trying to build treks through history. And the tricky thing is you have to start way earlier. You have to start the earliest possible time, and you're trying to build it up. The longer the trek you build, the more points you score. So the first couple of, if you start, you start at 0, and then you go to 5 AD. That's only 2 cards. That's actually going to lose you points. Not till you get to like 3 or 4 or 5 cards that you start getting a lot of points. If you can get to a trek of 10 cards or more, it's like 30 points, and that's really tough. I think only one person did it in the game we played. But if you sometimes though, you may want to sort of end that trek and start a new one, because you need each card you draw, you get certain icons that help you fill in your itinerary or your portfolio of what you wanted to visit. See things, see the sights, see this, learn history, learn science, whatever. Yeah, that little tableau card there. So sometimes you want to balance building your trek versus filling out that card, and as you fill out that card, you get additional points for different things by filling out those cards. So it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. It had a cool mechanism of each card you take, you can see the little time there, 3 time in the bottom. That means you move 3 hours, and each day is you basically go around the clock once, so 12 hours. So you have to really balance that out. Some of the cards give you little time crystals. Some of your itineraries give you time crystals where you can sort of slow time down so you move a little slower. So you have to balance what card you're taking. Hey, that moves me 4 hours, but it gives me the next one in my trek, or it gives me the next thing to fill out my tableau. So it was kind of it's very light. It's a little lighter than Ticket to Ride as far as complexity, which is kind of right where all these games fit. But for me, with an 8-year-old, that's great because he can learn all 3 of these games. And between parks, the world, and now history, they're great educational games. Because when I'm playing, I haven't played history with him yet, but when we play parks and world, I make him read the cards. Say, hey, you're going to this national park. Let's read about it. And that has spurned sometimes him going on YouTube or not YouTube, but on his iPad and looking up those parks or looking up those monuments. So I'm looking forward to history and having him learn, different aspects of history. Because on the backside of each of those cards, there's a little description of what that moment in history was, which is really cool. I like that.
I was so close to clicking back on this one because my undergrad was in history, and so I really like the concept, but I don't know. Trekking the world was a little light for me. So I didn't do it. But even though this one seems like maybe a little bit heavier, but also just the mechanisms seem pretty fresh and unique, and that's what I really want to
ask. Because Wayne compared it to Ticket to Ride, but as far as the other two in the series, I mean, is it on par with the other two? Or
yeah, they're on par. I would say so. Where I would say is complexity, at least how I view, is Trekking the Parks is definitely lighter than Ticket to Ride. Yeah. Right, Trekking the World, I think, can be a little bit more complex than Ticket to Ride because there's some different aspects there of you bumping people off, and you can use cards a little differently to finish your treks. So it's right around that. This is probably in between the two, so it's right at that complexity.
Still pretty light then.
Yeah, it's pretty light, but it's a fast game.
Oh yeah, it's listed as lighter than Trekking the World. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
But 30 to 60 minutes, if first play, we were probably done in 30, 35, 40 minutes. So this is, for a light game, it's only a 35, 40-minute game. So, that to me is fine, especially if you're playing with younger kids and you want to learn, teach them history, gamify education, which is fun. I like that.
Edmund saying woke up late. I don't know what time it is there, but it's got to be about 4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like Mitchell, I know you and Rob, and it's a lot of the Beans and Dice folks, a lot of them like heavy, meaty games. I like those as well, but I also like light games. And to me, the color, the production value, the game trays, just everything about the game is really well produced. Yeah, but it's quick. Like if this game was an hour-long game, I'd be like 2 hour, hour and a half. But I think even with a kid, my 8-year-old will probably get through this in under an hour easy.
Yeah, and the quick is the good part of it because I know Carlos and I have played this for some reason. The trekking series has been kind of a holiday thing for us. We get the teenagers together and we've played it. I know it. We played it at New Year's. We played one of them at the 4th of July. So we had just these little get-togethers. We have some adult beverages. We pull the kids together, and then we'll knock out a 45-minute game
with the kids.
With the kids, yeah, and knock out a 45-minute game of trekking the something. Yeah. So this fits kind of right in with that. So yeah, not. I agree with Mitchell a little bit. They're a little light for me as far as maybe playing at a game day or something with other gamers. But it certainly has its place, and we've enjoyed it. We played. It was Trekking the World. We played quite a bit when it first came out. So yeah, we like that one a lot.
Yeah, I would think like at a game day, if you were playing Burgundy and I was playing Crusaders and I finished early and I could take this game out, we could probably crank it out in 30 minutes waiting for other heavier games. So it's a filler game for hardcore gamers, for a family or for a group. It's a good intro game.
Somebody's droid going off there.
Yeah. What was that?
It's Wayne's. Okay. No worries.
I use the old droid sound on my phone.
I see.
I thought I had it muted. Sorry.
No. Off with his head.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. I made a faux pas.
Well, I guess that brings us to the end of the hour then, like we were saying. But don't forget to check out the podcast, listeners.
Yeah, podcast dropping this Sunday. What was our topics real quick? Hit us with the topics.
Curating a collection is the main course, how to decide what to buy, what to sell in your collection. We also give some strategy tips on King of Tokyo, and we talk about some recent plays. I played the new expansion that's not even out yet for Merchant's Cove. Wayne played Jungle Speed. Rob, you played Wormholes, I think it was called.
Wormholes,
right?
Yep. Yeah, awesome. And anybody who's interested, jump off of here, go straight over to Twitch and catch BJ on Board Game Gumbo. He's doing the unboxing of the new all-in Everdell box that just is showing up at people's doors here this last week. So I'm interested in see what's in there. So
a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. It's a huge box. It's huge.
Yeah.
But another successful call-in show. We had a busy night tonight. We appreciate everybody calling and participating in the conversation. That's what this is all here about. And again, on Sunday, definitely come back and catch that podcast wherever you consume your podcast information. Go in and listen. We're on all the major ones, and that'll be dropping. Should be every Sunday. Sometimes technical glitches get us on a Monday, but keep a lookout for that if you want to hear some more in-depth stuff. I think this week's episode's right at an hour.
Yeah, right about.
Okay, awesome. But again, this is the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
how we game.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.